Massive drama taking place in Houston to close a $450 million budget shortfall. Mike Miles, who is the state-appointed superintendent, has issued a wide variety of cuts. Not only are they cutting staff positions, they're cutting teaching positions. They're also firing and transferring, forcing the resignation of award-winning principals as well. Now, the state-appointed superintendent and the school board, they replaced the elected school board and the superintendent who was there. So they had this board of managers. And so they unanimously approved a measure allowing the district to cut dozens of staff and teaching positions. They also are getting rid of janitors and telling them they can actually reapply, but without benefits, sick days, and things along those lines. They're calling this a reduction in force that will take place before the 2024-2025 school year. Now, this has caused massive anger in Houston. Today, parents at several schools were protesting as a result of these various cuts. Joining us right now is the Texas State Representative Jarvis Johnson. Also joining us is State Representative Jolanda Jones, a former school board member in Houston. Glad to have both of you here. I'm going to start with you first, Representative Johnson, because when I look at the protests, I saw the stories over the weekend. You had individuals who were the teachers of the year. Middle school, high school, Miles goes, and he's forcing them to resign. And then they tried to cite these test scores. Well, then it came back, no, that's not really why they're getting released. We've seen massive numbers of teachers leaving the district. Now you got teacher shortage. You got principal shortage. What in the hell is going on? This feels like a complete decimation of the largest school district in Texas and one of the largest in the country.
Well, you know exactly what this is. This is a Greg Abbott play for his voucher scheme to try to get vouchers in place to destroy public education, only to come back to say, well, see, this is what's wrong with education. Now you need to have these vouchers in place. He is completely destroying HISD, which was a democratically led, voted on board to then put in this appointed board of nothing but mostly Republicans. And so this is all by design to destroy education system that is made up of primarily Black and Hispanic students, just to simply destroy education. When you destroy the system by which teachers teach, you destroy the environment by which children can learn. If that's a hostile environment, then you don't expect children to learn. And then he's using matrix and he's using a scorecard that was antiquated or is the new system for the next couple of years and saying, they would have scored poorly if this was in place. But HISD was a B+ rated school district, and they came in and completely destroyed the education system as a ploy. And this is nothing more than Greg Abbott, because we've already defeated his voucher scam. And so we're going to continue to defeat his voucher scam, but he's going to continue to try to destroy education systems all across this state. This is just HISD the first. It's going to be other school districts that are democratically led the next time.
Jolanda, this is video here of a protest today. So let's be clear. These ain't just Black parents who are ticked off. They done ticked off white parents, Latino parents. They're showing up at elementary schools, middle schools. These folks are not happy with these award-winning principals who literally are being forced to resign by Mike Miles, the superintendent.
Mike Miles is trying to do that at your alma mater, Roland, Yates. But we can talk about that if you'd like to.
So wait a minute, he's trying to force it. Wait a minute, he's trying to force out the new principal?
Yeah, the one he put in. So because he got rid of the one before, Tiffany Guillory, who you know. He forced her out, so she was forced to retire. And then he put in somebody else who was a graduate of Yates as well, with a very prominent Yates family, Tiffany Square. And now he was talking about getting rid of her. She was on that list too. And he's done it. The problem is when he's been firing the Black and brown principals at the Black and brown schools, nobody was paying attention. Then he screwed around and started messing with HSPVA and Meyerland and schools that are predominantly white. And now when their parents protest, they're upset because poor parents, Black parents, brown parents have already been protesting. No one paid attention to it. And I will also say that Mike Miles is not certified as a superintendent. When we hired a superintendent, they had to be certified. And this rubber stamp board, there I call them the kangaroo court, his co-conspirators actually voted for there not to be certified teachers. And now they've gone and they fired not only janitors, they fired the people that maintain the buses. So we're going to have a bunch of raggedy buses crashing, and our kids are going to be going to school in filth. And they're union busting. They fired almost 1,200 people on Friday after business hours. They told us that the janitors and the support staff, come in, you have to come in, even on some people's off days, and said, oh, by the way, you being fired, but you can reapply, you can't accrue vacation, and you don't get health benefits, and you're working hourly. And so that's what's going on. And I'm a former HISD trustee.
Jarvis,
so it is craziness. It is craziness. And I actually put out a statement on Friday night or Saturday morning related to this. The problem, and Mike Miles is also trying to do a bond while we're at it, Roland. He's going to put a bond on the November ballot because he wants to have more of a piggy bank. So the things that he's doing are unprecedented. HISD is the 7th largest school district in the United States. It's the largest school district in Texas, and it is the largest single city school district. So the other school districts in the country that are bigger than HISD are like counties, LA County, like that. So he's trying to destroy it because, as Representative Johnson said, we defeated his voucher scam. So he's trying to destroy HISD, and as HISD goes, the rest of the state will follow.
Jarvis, go ahead.
He did all of this firing towards the end of the school year, and he did it during Teacher Appreciation Week. Literally, he fired all of these teachers and principals during Teacher Appreciation Week. What kind of sick individual does that? And how demoralizing can that be when we're supposed to be celebrating teachers? We already know they're woefully underpaid. We had an opportunity with the $34 billion in surplus that we had in the state of Texas that we could have given teachers pay raise, but the governor and the Republicans refused to do so. And then on top of that, you go put this Mike Miles cat in place, and then he turns around and destroys the entire the excitement that teachers have every single day. And you go to them and say, you're fired during Teacher Appreciation Week. I mean,
and let me tell you something.
How sick is that?
I'll say this, Roland. He tried to fire principals before, but he got really bad backlash because, again, he had targeted some principals. And he said, oh, I'm not going to do that like right now. So he waits until the very end. He's implemented this new system called NES, which is shown to be a failure. And he actually was in Dallas ISD. They ran him away from Dallas ISD. And Greg Abbott and his cronies actually brought him in to do the same thing, because when you're a superintendent that is chosen by an elected board, then you have to be there, right? They can't get rid of you because the elected board can only get rid of you. When TEA appoints board members, who most of whom are Republican, in fact, if they're not Republican, they show acting like they're Republican, and they're signing off to everything that Mike Miles does. Mike Miles actually spent almost $500,000 on a production where he got to act and talk about how great he was. And he said he was going to do a sequel to it. So that's $500,000 that's just thrown down for some play where he got to act. So he is literally treating HISD like a playground and not an educational place. Kids don't have libraries. He's using libraries as detention facilities for the kids. It's terrible. It is awful. And he's got people who are not certified teachers teaching in HISD. And then he wants to blame the principals and the teachers for failing the kids when he's the reason that they have the environment where they have uncertified teachers and uncertified superintendent, and they can't teach kids because these people don't know how they're teaching kids. And what he's paying his administrators who work under him, he's paying them as if they work in big companies and are making a lot of money. So, yeah, he screwed around. He effed around and found out because he messed with the white kids and the white parents, and now everybody's talking about it. So I'm actually offended. And I will tell you, the only reason, Roland, that we have an appointed board is because, if you'll recall, because you reported on this, we actually had a walking quorum with people on our board, and let me make sure I say their names, Sergio Lira, Elizabeth Santos, Deanna Davila, Holly Villaseca, and Ann Sung, who had that walking quorum where they went and they were firing all the black administrators in HISD. TEA found that they were having a walking quorum, which violated open meetings, and that is one of the reasons why TEA was able to take over HISD.
Right. And I was about to say that because first of all, for people who don't understand what's happening in Texas, Texas Education Agency, they have control of the district. That's the state. So that's the governor, that's Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, two crazy, deranged MAGA individuals. And so, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is a 7-year hold?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Okay, so now
it can be.
Jarvis, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it can be. It's
up to 7 years.
It's only supposed to be, yeah. Because the minimum is 2, but they're going to push this out as far as they can.
Right.
Simply, as long as they don't have their voucher scheme in place, they're going to continue to try to destroy education as long as they can.
Right. So for the folks, so how do you even get to this? Well, folks need to understand what happened in Houston is this here. And this really goes back, folks, to I interned at the Houston Defender in 1990. And I remember reporting on a story in 1990 when there was a battle between blacks and Hispanics over someone who was going to lead the police department. And so what you've had significant battles going back to 1990 of superintendents, of fire chiefs, of police chiefs, of critical positions in Houston. And so what you've had African Americans and Latinos battling in terms of power. The same thing happened in Dallas. And so folk need to understand the setup. So what happened in Houston is what you just heard Jolanda talk about, the quorum. You heard Jolanda talking about this working quorum. And so you had Latinos on the Houston School Board who were trying to consolidate power. And so you had an effort where they literally were trying to get rid of the black superintendent to bring back the former Hispanic superintendent who quit.
No, he was runaway.
So he was runaway, so they got busted.
And they actually did fire her, if you're required.
Right.
They illegally fired her.
Right. So they fired the sister.
And we forced them to bring her back.
Right. Fired the sister to bring her back. And so go to my iPad. So this is from 2019. The threat of a state takeover intensifies for the Houston Independent School District. So what you're seeing right now, the roots of this began then. And you had the battle that was going back and forth. And so Latinos in Houston are going to have to accept the reality that this whole thing, they opened the door. With this walking quorum, they opened the door for the state to come in, and that door began to widen. And guess what? Now it's a whole bunch of Latino folks are getting fired. A whole bunch of black folks as well. So people have to understand what's happening in Houston because, as you heard Jarvis say, the governor, Abbott, he's desperate to pass vouchers in the state, which is a scam. Now, y'all know I'm the founder of School Choice is the Black Choice. But this plan here is a scam just like the one in Tennessee. The one in Tennessee just got defeated, but they're going to come back. What Abbott did in Texas was he literally supported the candidates the Republicans who voted against his voucher scam. He supported their opponents, and they have systematically taken them out. Now you have a runoff in the Dallas area where you have crazy Katrina Pearson, the shoplifting Trump supporter who's running for state rep. I know Jarvis is, but I'm just saying what it is, Jarvis. You ain't got to sit here. Jarvis like, oh, Lord, did he go there?
No,
damn sure did. The shoplifting Katrina Pearson, who's a Trump mouthpiece, she's now in a runoff against one of those Republicans. Abbott hates her because she was trashing him, but now he's backing her because he wants to eliminate every single one of those Republicans who voted against the voucher bill. And guess what? All those rural white folks in Texas, y'all are about to get screwed. Because the voucher scam in Texas serves one purpose. It is to be able to give billions of dollars to middle-class white people in the suburbs who want to remove their kids from public schools, send them to private school. You don't have enough seats in private school, but this effort is to strangle the public schools in Texas, and that is their goal. Same thing in Texas, same thing in Tennessee. And Jarvis, that is what we're seeing. So folk got to understand, you pulled some crap 5-6 years ago. Now you're seeing chickens have come home to roost, and the very folk who were trying to consolidate Latino power, now about to see a whole bunch of Latino janitors and custodians and teachers and support staff get fired because they were trying to screw black people when it came to power.
In addition to all of that, which you're absolutely correct, but I will tell you, in addition to that, rural Texas is going to get screwed because more times than not in rural communities, the school is the largest employer of that particular school of that particular area. So that means you're going to find people are going to lose their jobs anyway. The Republicans, and Greg Abbott knows this, 70% of Texas disapproves of. He only did this because Ron DeSatan decided to do vouchers in Florida, and he was trying to keep up with DeSatan so that they could get Trump's approval of who's going to be his running mate. So that's what this is all about, because Abbott knows he's going to be gone in a couple of years. He's not going to be the governor, but at the end of the day, he's just trying to use this platform to rally his base, to make them think that he's doing good by their kids, when in fact, this civil war that the Republicans got going on, it will destroy them. And I'm all for it. I'm here for it because they're tearing each other apart and they're tearing these schools apart. And I'm so glad, Jolanda pointed that out, I'm so glad that you're now bringing it to the doorsteps of people that normally didn't understand it, they didn't see it. See, the one thing you got to have in politics is empathy. Because when it starts to happen to you, when this thing starts to come at you, then all of a sudden you go, oh, is that what this was all about? Oh, my God. And so it's kind of funny to see, upper middle class and affluent white people outside chanting, hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go. And I'm like, wow, that reminds me of something. It all comes back. And so sometimes it's good when these type of things happen, because it falls at people's doorsteps that they now have to reckon with the problems that they created to then try to be the solution maker when they're actually just destroying.
Jolanda, final comment. Go ahead.
I'll say this, Roland. So yeah, he screwed around and he messed with the white schools and the white children. But the bottom line is this. I'd like to see the white parents rally when he's closing our schools and firing our principals, right? Because we hadn't seen that, although we are supporting them because we understand a rising tide lifts all boats. But I'll also say that Abbott wants for the vouchers to give $10,000 per kid to basically it's subsidizing rich people and middle-class white folks' kids to go to school, because they're going to these private schools where the tuition is $27,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year. So you give them $10,000, they're only paying $15,000 or whatever. And what black folks and poor folks don't always understand is private school costs more than $10,000. And when you get if vouchers pass, that doesn't pay for your transportation. It doesn't pay for your food. You're not getting the federal dollars. So the people that are going to be stuck is the parents who think they can literally have enough money with these vouchers and go to another school. And insofar as rural areas, it's going to kill them, because generally there are not a lot of schools, right? So maybe in an urban city like Houston or Dallas, there may be a bunch of schools or some charter schools or whatever around where I can catch a bus or something and get there. These places in rural areas are 30 and 40 minutes away. So it's going to decimate them. And so I'm actually very, very, very sad to see Abbott try to exact this plan and go around what voters wanted, because HISD, I believe, is irreparably harmed right now. And we are literally losing an entire generation of kids. Now, perhaps once HISD is decimated, because that's where it is, if I were a parent of a child who was school age, although I believe I shouldn't have to pay for private school, I'd have gotten extra jobs, worked overtime to put my child in a private school, because HISD is not an environment to teach kids in, because they don't have certified teachers. And if you're a parent, you know you don't want to send your kids to where teachers are not certified. They have principals, the good principals have left. They are running them out. They have threatened. Mike Miles is like, he is threatening people. He's a dictator. And principals literally call me and they're afraid. Teachers call me and they tell me what's going on because they are afraid that if they open their mouth, so he's stifling their First Amendment rights, that they will lose their jobs. And so there is not a First Amendment right in HISD for anyone who works there. So HISD is destroyed. I don't know if we can fix it. I don't know if we can fix it, at least now in the like near future.
Well, very simple, folks. That is, I totally get what you're saying, Jolanda, in terms of these white parents. But you know what? Whatever wakes them the hell up, cool. Just like in Tennessee, it was a whole bunch of black folks been getting shot. But when them white kids got shot in that school shooting, and then all of a sudden they started coming to the state capitol, that's what woke them up. And so maybe they will now stop fighting the word woke, and maybe those white folks in Houston will now stay woke to what's going on and realize that what black folks have been saying, and what Latinos have better wake up as well in Houston. Because, again, all those shenanigans, trying to change the voting lines and trying to change, who qualifies for the ballot, how to apportion district lines by trying to use total population versus registered voters, they need to understand what's going on. So all the games they were playing, they realize what's happening here and how they're getting screwed as well. So it makes a hell of a lot more sense for Latinos in Houston to align with black folks, and for concerned white folks to realize that Republicans, they want to completely destroy not just the city of Houston, but Harris County, because they hate the fact that it's blue. No. That's why I said Houston. No, I said Houston and Harris County. They want to destroy it because they hate the fact that they can't control it. That's what's going on. So we'll keep watching what happens there. I'm supposed to be at Yates High School on May 24th to present.
I'm gonna come there
to present my scholarship. They're not following the rules anyway because I was supposed to be kept apprised of this whole process of who was actually applying. So I'm gonna deal with them when it comes to that because.
Well, but the principal is really worried, Roland, about being fired from Yates. So she, like for real, the parents are talking to me. The kids are talking to me. He identified her as one of the principals he was trying to get away with, that he's trying to get rid of. So she got things and she is doing a really good job, right? And we got problems in Houston too. Whitmire firing all the black department directors. That's what he's doing. So black people are under attack in Houston. And what's the only thing that's going to make the white progressives and the Hispanics come aboard with us, I think, is for them to lose and them to see how valuably important we are as a part of the coalition. Because without black folks, y'all gonna lose.
I'm glad you made that point because I'm texting Mike Miles right now with regards to that. So that's going to happen. We'll see if he calls me back like he did when he got the job. So I made it clear he needed to have a conversation with me.
Well, while you at it, ask him why he won't meet me, because I've demanded meeting with him because he wanted to talk to me about a bond. I'm like, no, we're going to talk about you firing all these people and destroying HISD before we talk about a bond. So he refused to meet. So why don't you talk to him about that?
I'm a firm believer as well that when somebody's trying to ask for a bond, bonds can be defeated. And so,
exactly. And I'm against it.
I got you.
I'm against it.
All right, then. We're glad to have both of y'all on the show. And Representative Johnson, I'm also glad that you had enough common sense not to come on my show, even though Jolanda is wearing her little purple. I don't know what.
But we know I'm an AKA.
I know that, but Jarvis had enough sense not to have none of that crap hanging on his wall. But I do, Representative Johnson, I do want you to see, though, your fellow state representative out of Georgia, how he represents on here as well. And so, Derek, just in case, he don't know, this is how we roll, Jarvis, on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Of course, where alphas reign supreme.
Yo, D9, y'all, we gonna be there. We good right now. We got to band together to go win this war we having right now against everybody who's coming against us. But
it's hard to be black.
It's your show, Roland. I'll let you have it, baby. But we good.
Y'all don't let alphas have nothing. We take. All right, I appreciate y'all. Thanks a lot.
Fanbase is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy. This next generation social media app with over 600,000 users is raising $17 million, and now is your chance to invest. For details on how to invest, visit startengine.com/fanbase or scan the QR code. Another way we're giving you the freedom to be you without limits.